This podcast is brought to you by Blossoms PPC, your trusted partner for promotional apparel and uniforms. Since 1998, we've been manufacturing high-quality t-shirts, caps, and bags in bulk with competitive pricing and timely delivery. Visit www.blossomspc.com for more details.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Backbenchers podcast. So, today we have Mr. Anish with us. He's the owner of Lakeview Milk Bar. So, we'll start off by asking the most important question we ask all our guests. Were you a backbencher?
100%. I would not even go close to the front of the class because, honestly, I don't want to be asked those questions I have no answers for. So, yeah, I was definitely a backbencher.
So, where did you do your college?
I did my schooling in Frank Anthony's, FAPS, basically. Moved on to Sri Bhagwan Mahavir Jain College. Honestly, only because of sports, right? I played cricket my entire life. I mean, my early life. And then soon after that happened, then I got into business.
So, can you tell us some fun college stories?
Fun college stories.
Yeah, like the wildest stories, like no censorship, nothing, just...
Honestly, dude, I didn't go to college because I was playing cricket for Karnataka at that time. We used to just go for practice in the morning and then bunk. And my college was from 7:30 to 11:30 in the morning. I mean, there was no time to go to college. So my attendance was like at 6%, guys. Not something to look up to at all, but my attendance was 6%. This one time I went to class, and the teacher actually missed announcing my name for attendance. Like, I was sitting there the entire class. At the end of the class, she's taking the attendance, and my name wasn't there in the entire roll. So I was like, why did I even sit through this entire class? I missed it. So, I mean, I don't have much to tell you about college life, honestly, apart from being out of college.
Yeah. So, like back when you were in college, you used to play sports and all of that. How often would you visit your family business?
Maybe only when I was hungry and I didn't have money. That was the only time. Otherwise, never. I would only be anywhere else.
Can you tell us a bit about like the founding of Lakeview? Like, how did it start?
So, founding of Lakeview, as of what I know at least, is it was founded by this Englishman named James Meadow Charles, right, in 1930. He started making his own ice cream and selling it on a little cart. Like, you see these carts of ice cream on the road. I don't see them a lot now, but back in the day. And he made only 3 scoops, 3 flavors, right? Vanilla, chocolate, and raspberry.
Okay.
And he just, he would go from place to place, and there was no real name to the brand. It was just the recipes, and he would just sell it on the cart. And he ran it for about 15, 17 years while he was here. In 1947, he was leaving India and going back, obviously, when we got our independence. And my granddad had become friends with him. And my granddad was only about 17, 18 years old at that point, right? And when he was leaving, he's like, I don't mind doing your business because it's something that I really like, I look forward to. I like ice cream. And Bangalore was not the weather that we have today. It was like a hill station. Like ice cream would be something that you'd probably have a couple of months in the summer and then forget about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, he took it upon himself to take the brand forward. And in 1947, he brought it, struggled a little bit. Then finally opened his first outlet where 1MG Mall is today.
Yes.
And from there you could see Alsu Lake. Yeah. Hence the name Lakeview. Yeah.
There
was never a lake in front of MG Road. Never.
I was just going to ask you that. Where did the name come from?
Yeah. That's how the name originated. Yeah.
So then, did you always know that you're going to join your family business?
Never. Honestly, my dad would always tell me, like, you have to join the business. And I'm like, dude, I want to stay as far away as I can from the food business. I have no interest in learning to cook. I have no interest in learning to make ice cream. I don't have no interest in service. I want to get away from here. So, I mean, this was not part of the plan.
So then how did you pivot to this then?
Honestly, I did not pivot to it. So I was just, breaking into the Ranji team for Karnataka when I was 21, 22. And that's when my, dad died suddenly.
Okay.
Right. So and we were not very financially well off at that point, right? And cricket is something which is, I mean, sport in general is something that's very uncertain. Like you can maybe make it big, but at that point, IPL and all it just taken off, right? So what you don't know, like it was not supposed to be like this. So I mean, it was a logical decision for me to get into business, although it was a very small outlet. I mean, we were still not where we should have been at that point, despite all the years of history, right? Yeah, I don't know. Like honestly, I don't know how I found myself in that mess, but that's what happened. And logically, I had to take a call to support my family at that point to get into this because I didn't even know how to do accounts. I went to my friend from school. He had just come back from London School of Economics. His office on St. Mark's Road. I went to his office. And I asked him. I said, "Dude, like I presented him whatever my expenses, revenue, everything was." And I said, "Dude, how do I do accounts?" So he taught me how to do accounts in my initial couple of months of doing business. So I had no interest, but I mean, like looking back now, obviously good memories.
So you joined the business like how many years back? It's been
2011 or 12, I think. Yeah, so about 12 years ago.
So back then you had just the one outlet on MG, right?
Yeah, just one small outlet on MG Road. We actually had a big outlet, but then we had to move to St. Mark's Road because the building was under redevelopment, whatever. So we came back to MG Road, and that's how I found it. And now we have about 6 outlets in Bangalore. We're going to open a couple more shortly. We're on quick commerce. We're trying to get into food processing. So different things. I mean, it's time because now I'm in it and I'm interested in it, and it keeps me going.
I just want to understand one thing. So again, when your father passed away, you had a lot of this responsibility just come upon you.
Yeah.
You never planned on joining the family business. You didn't know much about it. Like, can you just tell us how you felt in that moment?
Lost. Very honestly, I felt lost. I was not lost for like a day or two. I was lost for years.
Yeah.
Right, because when I gave up cricket, it felt like dying. Right, and then again, like trying to figure out what you are doing because no formal education in business, no formal education in any sort of hotel management, curriculum. None of that. So it's not like I'm a cook. I know how to make ice cream. I have no interest also. So I was more concerned about the business part of it and making sure the quality of what we were doing was right at that point. Nothing else.
So it's remarkable how again you joined it in 2012. In the past 13 years, you've scaled it to more than 6. You've scaled over 6 outlets. You're opening a lot more. Like, what was that journey like?
Looking back, it was things also happened really fast sometimes. Now that you mention it, looking back, 6 outlets, etc. It could have been, it could have shut in 1 year also, right? Because I had no clue what I was doing. So honestly, a lot of people, my family helped me a lot. My mom was part of the business initially. She used to whatever she had learned over the years, she was trying to pass on to me. I would try and find people who I could speak to in the industry, just try and understand and do the basics right. I think if you, in most things in life, if you try and do the basics right, I think you can exceed.
Do you feel there's a correlation between your ability to take pressure, I mean the business pressure that suddenly came upon you, and the pressure you took on the cricket field?
100%. I think that really set me up for life, right? Because right from your school days, right, the pressure to perform, to make it into the team, first to get selected for the school team, pressure to then stay in the school team, pressure to perform, pressure to, the pressure to get into a state side is immense. And once you get into perform over there, right, it doesn't stop. And this pressure is not put on you by anybody else. Nobody is telling you that you have to do this, you have to take this step, you have to play. My parents were very chill. Every time I went for an exam or something, I would come back and they're like, "You'll pass." I'm like, yeah, I'll pass. So they didn't have any major expectations from me in that. So, which honestly took the pressure off. But then if you want to achieve something, if you want to exceed, the average scale, then you probably have to take that pressure on you. And it's something that you learn to enjoy, right? Because if there's no pressure, then you're not very interested in what you're doing.
The reason I asked you that question is, so we had another guest on the podcast. His name is Karan. He has a clothing brand called Aristobrat.
Okay.
So again, like he used to play cricket, and then he'd mentioned it too. Like a lot of the success and like the risk capacity, the pressure, the ability to take pressure, is something that I learned while playing cricket. If I probably hadn't played cricket, I don't think I could have done this well.
He's 100% right. He's 100. It set me up for life. You know, honestly, I did not realize it back then. But when I look back at it, your different situations you're put into, you know, and you're obviously like you're playing in a team.
Yes.
Right. So when you have to win a game of cricket, you cannot do it, or any game, any team sport, right? You cannot do it by yourself. You cannot score 100 every game. You cannot get 10 wickets every game. It's not possible. So you learn not only that aspect, but you also learn to play as a team. Right? You support other people, bring them up with you, or they will bring you up with them. It depends on the situation, and so many situations you're going through in one single match, right? And you're doing that week on week, year on year. I mean, that's just really, I think sport should be played by everyone. And, you know, whether you make it or don't make it, it's fine. It teaches you a lot. Like, you know, especially being with other people also. Good times, bad times, winning, losing. It's all part of the game. And I think that's carried on with me in life. So winning, losing is okay. I don't get too excited or I don't get too bogged down. It's part of life, and you move on.
Do you still play?
Not as much. But I played for my club side, FUCC. I don't know. It's a very prominent club in Bangalore. I played for them for a few years also. After I professionally gave it up, and I used to enjoy going for every game. Yeah. Although like the heat would kill me, but still.
Yeah.
So has the pressure from playing professionally to just casually playing?
There's no pressure when I'm casually playing, right? I mean, it's more about the team winning than you're not concerned about your performance at all. Like when you're still playing professionally, you really do care about your performance also in the entire game, right? You don't want, I mean, you're doing well and not doing well is part of it, but you're concerned about it. But when you're not playing professionally, then it's more about the team winning, and you're just enjoying yourself out there, passing on whatever information you can to the younger generation, stuff like that. So it's a different form of play, but it's fun.
Yeah. Go, please.
Has the fun translated into the business, like?
So I would say business is more day to day, right? Yeah. You have to be on it like almost every day, right? And it's not like you are going to have a game on the weekend or every third day and then you perform that day and practice the rest. So it's not like that. It's very different. You have to perform every single day, right? It keeps ticking, because when you are, obviously a lot of business owners feel this, because when you are running a business, you're also looking after so many people who are employed at the business, right? And also concerned about what you are serving, how you are serving, what is the product, so how you're managing your finances. So it's like a sport, you know. You're concerned about your batting, bowling, fielding, then your coach, what he's saying, what your other players are saying, where you are going next. It's like that.
So, like, moving on to like the business part now, how did you manage to scale it up to?
Honestly, I was not planning to scale it up. Okay. It just happened, right? So, I mean, net when my dad died, we were like flat. We didn't have money. So we made a little bit money in the first 1 or 2 years. And then from that, whatever money we had made, I think about 10-15 lakhs or something, I took that 10-15 lakhs of the full family money and I opened an outlet in Indiranagar, which looking back now was a crazy thing to do, right? Because you've risked everything again. You've gone from zero to there and back to zero.
Yeah.
Right? So then, and without any guarantee that either of the outlets are going to do well. Right?
This was around 2014, 2015.
Yeah, 2014, 2015, probably. So, I mean, you have to take a risk, right? And honestly, like, even in, like, again, back to like sport, right? If you have to score 100, you will have to take some risks to, probably.
You'll have to hit a six.
You will have to hit a six at some point, or even the boundary somewhere, depending on a situation. And for me, it was an opportunity. I feel like in Nagar was still at a very nascent stage. I found a place. I'm like, okay, fine, okay, what's the worst that can happen? Go back to zero. And I was young. So, you're more tuned to taking that risk. And I feel you should take risks. Calculate your risk, but you should take the risk. Because if you don't take a risk, you'll not get that outcome that you desire.
What do you look for in, like, when you open a new outlet?
Yeah.
Like, I'm assuming, like, with every outlet that you open, you get better at predicting which one's
Correct.
going to do better.
Correct.
So what is, like, the framework you use
Yeah.
to select which location to open an outlet?
Right now, I would. Obviously, location is key,
Yeah.
right? And there are different models of what kind of outlet you're going to do now. It's not same like it's like a plain Jane outlet which was happening about 15, 20 years ago. Right now, you can do a QSR model, you can do a kiosk model, you can do one in the mall, you can do on a high street. So it really depends what kind of segment you are targeting, right? And what kind of outlet you want to open. Right, from a mall perspective, it's very different because we've just opened our first outlet in a mall in Phoenix.
Okay.
Uh,
The Mall of Asia?
Mall of Asia is
Okay.
coming soon, but we have just opened now in Market City.
Okay.
Right, so very new experience for me. I've never done a mall before, but I understand that the demand is there even in a mall. Like I was very closed off to that concept, thinking, no malls, probably won't do well, but doing very well. So it was like a lesson learned for me, right? Like don't close yourself off to that. I was looking more at main high streets because my concept of thinking was limited to that. So when you try different things, you achieve different results. And even that in the Anagar outlet I opened, terrible location in the sense that we had so many problems with the landlord, we had so many problems with the drainage, the lighting, electricity, everything that could go wrong probably went wrong, right?
Yeah.
So now I learned. Now I don't take places where we are likely to face these issues because you want to focus more on doing business rather than handling these operating issues, right? So yeah, when you choose if it's a high street, then just go for the one of the best locations that's available on that high street, right? Like don't compromise over there because your visibility is very important. Like if people can't find you, they will not come to you, right? You have to be seen. That is number one. Parking obviously is a challenge, but your location in terms of your high street has to be key. Like if you go to third, fourth lane, and Bangalore is such a city where if you are not right in front, sometimes
you get no one's gonna come.
Yeah, so it's very different from Bombay. Like I spent a lot of time in Bombay.
Okay.
I feel like you don't have to be on the high street in Bombay to do well. I feel density of population is very high in Bombay, right? You see these towers and so many people, right? So you can even do a cloud kitchen in Bombay and still be super successful. I feel here you have to be in one of those upcoming areas where you have tons of apartments, that kind of density, IT parks, stuff like that will really make a difference. But in terms of locations, depends on your model.
Yeah.
If you're going for a kiosk model, then also location is not so important. Because then you're catering more to your delivery business and stuff like that, not only dine-in.
Yeah.
And Lakeview per se somehow is a more heavy dine-in business is more key for us. So it's been up and down. The one thing about Lakeview is everything that we sell in Lakeview we manufacture ourselves, right? So we have a bakery unit, we have an ice cream production facility. We have a factory where we manufacture everything that we sell in Lakeview. We don't outsource anything.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm proud of because I can I can keep the quality consistent, right? If I know there's something wrong with the product, means there's something wrong at the factory, right? Straight away, right? Because it's not coming from anywhere else. So, we already had the setup and honestly, when this option came to me, I didn't go looking for it. It came to me and it was an easier yes because I was already catering to some of my outlets. I had to just maybe scale up a little bit more, have a little bit different techniques in terms of packaging and stuff like that because you're looking at products that have a higher shelf life, right?
Yeah.
Your packaging and shelf life is very important because if you're not able to figure out 4 to 5 days at worst of shelf life for products, then you're not going to be able to do that. And 4 or 5 days for like bread. Brownies, we have taken it to a month of shelf life right now. And they will still be excellent. I hope you try some of the products. But it's a slightly different game, but I only did it because we had an existing unit, right? It would not make sense for me to set up a brand new manufacturing unit to get into quick commerce, which is an unknown. It was already, yeah, it was there, but it was a very small one. So we've expanded on that, and now we've got into different categories also. So, and weirdly on quick commerce, we have a lot more bakery products than ice cream. Ice cream is not something that we've gotten onto quick commerce yet, but we hope to.
So when you joined the business, were there? I mean, so like initially, like when I spoke to my mom and I told her that you're coming on board, the first thing she told me, dude, let's go tonight. Let's get the hot chocolate. I'm like, okay, like the thing is, like my perception of Lakeview honestly was more than ice cream. But again, their perception was purely just about ice cream. So how did you like decide to make a shift from like adding more products to it?
I think it came naturally, honestly, because see, we Lakeview as a brand is not in the game of creating more flavors, right?
Yeah.
We are not playing that game where we have maybe 20, 40 to 50 different flavors and trying to develop that every time. I feel like we are more a dessert brand than just an ice cream brand. So with dessert, obviously comes your different categories of things like your tres leches, your tiramisu, brownies, whatever, right? Whatever you like. So we are trying to like venture more towards that with your ice cream rather than just be an ice cream brand.
Your burgers are really good.
Burgers are
Hot
also
chicken burger.
yeah, yeah. So even food, right, is something that we are constantly trying to like. We have a very limited menu, but we try to keep it good quality, right? I like main thing that I don't want people to think that Asha theek hai, we are trying to just do something for the sake of doing. There's a reason as to why everything is on.
How do you handle so much? You have the production unit.
Yeah.
You have multiple outlets. Like how are you able to manage so much?
I've honestly like been blessed with some good people who are also at the company, and they really help me out. Yeah, it's not easy to look into these kinds of different departments. But when people are here at the company, I give them the freedom to make these decisions, to look after things, quality control, stuff like that. Obviously, there is troubleshooting that needs to be done every now and then I'm more than happy to be a part of that. But I give people the freedom to try and work this out on themselves.
So these outlets, are they company owned or are they
All are
franchise
company owned.
Is there any reason you decided not to go? I mean, not to franchise out or?
Yeah, I don't think personally we were ready as a brand to get into this because in my short career, I've seen a lot of brands go from 0 to 100 and come back to 0. Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think that I'm trying to understand why that has happened.
I think the quality control aspect again goes out in
Correct.
franchise, right?
Correct. And why does that happen, right?
Yeah.
Because people are more worried about setting up franchisees than what is actually happening in the franchisees. I don't know. I might be wrong. This is my perception.
We know that makes sense. Instead of focusing on your business of like producing good products, you're just focused on selling more franchises.
And that's also fine. I mean,
Yeah.
selling is a part of business, but right, if back end is not strong, your foundation is not strong, right, then you will probably suffer. And I have refrained from setting up franchisees because personally, I don't think Lakeview is ready yet.
Okay.
And I think I feel like if 1 or 2 more years, maybe situation is different. I'm not closed off to that to that concept of franchising, but let's see. But also you have to understand how much demand is there for your product, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to oversupply, right? Because if you oversupply, there's not enough demand. Nobody's going to buy your product. So now I don't think Lakeview is the kind of brand where we need 100 outlets in Bangalore. It's definitely not required.
I feel like it's more of a pilgrimage, coming. So I stay near Atinagar. Yeah. The closest Lakeview is the one on MG Road. So it's more like a pilgrimage, if we go out for dinner somewhere this side, it's always like, you know what? Chalo, Lakeview jayenge aaj.
Yeah, I agree. But I want to be that side of town also. But maybe one outlet in each location, I think is fine. I don't see the real demand to scale at breakneck pace where it's not sustainable. I want to be sustainable. I want to be a profitable company and then grow it slowly and hopefully still be existing when my fourth generation is here. I guess.
I have a question for you. Coming back to cricket,
Hmm.
are you a T20 guy or a Test cricket guy?
Oh man, tough. To watch or to play?
To play.
To play Test cricket any day.
Because your approach to this reminds me of Test cricket.
Yeah.
Instead of just going all out, like just smashing it here and there,
Yeah.
you want to do it slowly and in a method, in a very systematic way.
I mean, you can go. I mean, there are times to go fast also, right? When you are fully ready, your system is ready, your back end is ready. You can scale very fast, right? And you have seen brands today doing it. Like it's not unheard of. It's not that you can't be successful. You can be, but I feel like until you are ready, you know from inside where you stand, right? And you can't lie to yourself. And I'm okay taking this test match approach because it's working for me right now.
That's true. And if you look at the history of, I mean, since it started in 1930, we're in 2025. It's almost 95 years of legacy. I have one question for you now. So again, like a lot of these brands, when people talk about businesses, they usually say the first gen starts it, the second gen grows it, and the third gen just lets it go down.
That's so almost what happened, right? Almost what happened. It was like literally like a coin toss. I could have also said no and continued cricket and seen where that could have gone. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what kind of magical power that was that drew me to this when I had no idea what I was doing. So it was literally a coin toss.
Do you manage it alone, or do you have siblings who help you out?
My mom was actively part of the business till recently, till COVID.
Okay.
My sister, I have a sister, but she moved on to her own business in Bombay and stuff like that. Yeah.
So you handle the whole thing single-handedly.
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
That's insane to do so much.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, like you have to create a team, right? True. And then you can sleep at peace, because if you don't have a team, then it gets a bit hard.
I mean, like the F&B sector in general is always, like, based on what I've observed, I might be wrong, but I've seen that there's always like two sides. There's either like a very high like attrition rate with employees. Like anytime you go to a restaurant, either like people keep changing, or there are restaurants, like they've been there from the past 30 years and they'll never go until they leave. Like how does a restaurant stay in that space where like the employees just choose to stay?
I don't know. I mean, the right way to answer it is, are the employees doing justice to their position, right? I think you have to look at it that way. Like, I don't think it matters where somebody is working for, say, 25 years but not doing justice to their position, right? If things are getting complacent, and I mean, you have to, business is business, guys. You don't get emotional. I mean, obviously, we have people who have been working with us for 30 years plus, right, from my father's time, or maybe, even beyond that. And they're still doing a fabulous jobs, and honestly, like, I have no problem with that. So, and if people are getting complacent, sometimes it is what it is. Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, you don't get too emotional about it.
Talking about coming at like 2011 when you started the business, did you have anyone who you thought would guide you into the business, because it was something relatively new for you?
Yes.
So
I think there was this one manager who's still with us. His name is Anjanya Reddy, who basically handles my entire operations. Right, he manages everything. So as you said, workload. That's how I manage it. Okay. He really helps me a lot. So, right, so he's very good at what he does.
Shout out to.
And so he basically helped me in the beginning to understand the business also. It was not his job, right?
Yeah.
But he really and I was 21 years old, I had no clue. But yeah, I spent a lot of time with him. I was at the outlet, at one little outlet, for like literally 12 hours a day, trying to understand things rather than do anything. Just try to understand. He explained basic things to me. So, I mean, I'm grateful for that. My mom was obviously there. I took help from my friends, some family maybe. But obviously, it's not that I figured this out and did this myself. It's not me at all.
did the business blood kick in that time?
Yeah, that's what people say. My friends say Gujarati business blood.
Oh, Gujarati.
Yeah.
I'm Gujarati too. So my mom is Guju.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess it did. You can say that. Yeah.
So one point I'd like to ask you is, again, if like Lakeview is a premium brand. If you look at the interiors, everything, like it's amazing. And how do you manage like to offer great quality, a great experience, and still stay competitive with like high product costs and like overheads?
Yeah, honestly, dude, margins have taken a proper beating, but it's not easy at all. But you have to, right? You can't possibly charge, say, 700 rupees for a Sunday or something. Nobody's gonna come. So, I mean, yeah, and since we make our own ice cream, like, we are fully backward integrated,
Yeah.
right? So I know exactly the costs that go into making ice cream. And we try to keep ours at a premium level, right?
Yeah.
We are a slightly higher fat content ice cream. We don't pump our ice cream full of air. So we try to maintain that quality, even though, our margins are a bit lower than I would say maybe some other brands. But we have to be competitive in this market. I don't think you have much of a choice, and you have to. I mean, and as long as I feel like you're serving good quality, I think people will appreciate that.
Going back to the competitive brands that are coming up, there's all through the years there have been companies who have manufactured ice cream or sold ice cream to the Bangalore crowd, and some of them have taken a back seat. So how has Lakeview managed to be steady in that environment?
I think for me it was always see. I don't have any formal education like I was mentioning earlier in hotel management, right? Or I am not a cook. I don't know how to make ice cream. It's none of that. For me, it was always a business, right? With the sentiment, right? I always wanted to make sure that I'm not cheating anybody because I don't want to be cheated as a customer when I go to some other place. So my thinking is first that serve quality things and run it as a proper business, because if you're very passionate but if you're not logical about where the business is, then I think you're more likely to face harder, more difficult times, right? So it was, you have to bring everything together, right? It's not only one side of the business that you have to focus on and hope that other one, because you only focus on business, your quality is not good, then you're going to suffer, or vice versa, you're going to suffer also. So it's a fine balance, which I feel a lot of people are like figuring out now. So I think maybe some places that have two partners, right? One is more business oriented, one is product oriented. That happens. But in this case, like, I'm not product oriented, so I'll probably find people who are product oriented and then look after the business side. But never compromise on that. And coming back to your point of why Lakeview has survived, I think in my time at least, I think these reasons are key, and I think it's going to continue being, because if you're not looking at numbers logically and understanding where you stand, then I think you'll have a tough time.
How do you build a brand that stays, like, a lot of, like, brands, like a good brand per se, there's some sort of emotional attachment towards it, like there's like a defense. If anybody like talks bad about it, you see people defending it and they take it personally, like they've insulted them. Like how do you build a brand like that?
Honestly, that was not done by me. So I have not done that. I think my dad and mom and their family have done this.
So the reason I asked that is because,
yeah,
so like again, like when Milano and all these places opened, it's just very fun to, because like a lot of young people go there. And then I used to tell my parents, I'm like guys, y'all had nothing in your life. Like y'all never lived life. They're like, no, you have no idea. Like places like Balal, again, Lakeview, and just like a few places. So they like passionately defend it. And that's something like I
I
really
think they've had good experiences, right? I think that's primarily why. And you get sentimental about your time now. 20, 40 years later, if somebody comes and tells you something about Joseph's, you'll be like, dude, what are you talking about? It's the best college in Bangalore, right?
Even
So,
if the 3 years were a bit difficult.
yeah, even though, I mean, it's always better in hindsight, always. And even coming back to cricket, when I was playing it, I was miserable. When you're not getting runs or you're not getting wickets, you're like, damn, dude, I don't want to play the sport ever again. But now looking back, you're like, damn, what was I saying? So, yeah, I mean, it's the fondness, and I think that comes with time. You have to be consistent over a long, long, long period of time, right?
Yeah.
So that's what happens.
So you mentioned earlier that again, Lakeview is not a brand that tries to, like launch like 20, 30 different ice cream flavors. So is there any reason you're not going down that road?
I mean, for what? Like, why am I? What is the end game by doing that? Like, where do you stop? Right? I don't know. Like personally, and I'm not a product guy to give you that answer, honestly, and I don't want to get into that game of trend following, right?
Okay.
Because trend following is also a risky game to play, because then once a trend is gone, then you have to, if you don't catch on to the next trend, then what? Where I mean, you're not. I mean, you're neither here, you're neither there.
True.
Right? So trend following is something that I like try and avoid. Like I feel classics are going to remain classics as long as you're able to maintain your quality. I think you'll be okay.
How do you maintain the quality?
I mean, one is ingredients, right?
Yeah.
Ingredients and process.
Like, can you tell us, like, again, you mentioned that you manufacture your own ice cream.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of like ice cream parlors out there that don't.
Yeah.
They just like buy ice cream.
Correct.
Like, what makes Lakeview ice cream so special?
I think we use authentic, like proper cream first, high fat percentage cream, high fat percentage milk, and the process that we have been using for our ice cream has been passed down for the last 20, 30 years. We have not changed. I mean, equipment
Is it
has
like a
changed
secret
now.
recipe?
I mean, sort of, little bit, but like even if I give it to you, probably make it, it won't come out the same way.
Absolutely.
Right? It's like it's like McDonald's. Everyone knows the recipe of the McDonald's burger, but if you try and replicate it and open a McDonald's, it's not going to work, right? So I mean, yeah, we try to use good quality stuff here. We don't pump it full of preservatives, chemicals, all no vegetable fat, no dalda, stuff like that. Like we stay away from. That's why I feel like you can eat more of Lakeview ice cream than you can of other brands. I feel you can have 4 scoops and you'll not feel sick. Personally, I feel like this. I don't know how other people feel, but this is my personal thought.
And the trust has been built over the years.
Yeah. You will not feel sick. I feel like you should come and try it, like, for sure.
Today.
Yeah.
Again, you mentioned earlier that you're not that you're not much of a sweet tooth guy.
Yeah, I mean, embarrassing, but yeah, I'm not. I mean, I like chocolate, like chocolate.
Yeah.
But if it comes to ice cream, I would say vanilla is my favorite flavor. I really like, and especially Lakeview vanilla is very nice.
So, what do you think are like the top 3? What are the best-selling like ice cream flavors from Lakeview? Like the top 3.
Selling flavors or desserts? What do you want?
Flavors and then desserts.
Flavors, vanilla is number 1, chocolate, and I think raspberry is, raspberry or pistachio. Yeah, one of them. Pistachio also very good. And in terms of desserts, I would say maybe dry fruit special, black forest special, and sizzling brownie. They're still classics, right?
Yeah.
We've introduced so many things, and people still want to come back and have that. Like you were mentioning bubble waffles earlier, something that you like. It's something new.
Yeah.
But and it's doing well also. But like people still, I mean, the top 3 are those.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really thought bubble waffles gonna be in the top 3. that's the. Yeah, I think I tried that 2 or 3 years back, and honestly, that's the only thing I've stuck to. When I come there, it's just the bubble waffle. I don't know how many.
It's a different product. Like it's very light also.
Yeah, I've never. It's light, and I don't think I found that anywhere else. Like you get waffles with ice cream, but like bubble waffle is just fun to eat.
Yeah, it's fun to eat. Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
So Lakeview is a company which is known for its classic, but you also have these sundaes and desserts like bubble waffle.
Yeah.
And somehow they also turn into a classic and something very well known from Lakeview. So how do you manage to?
There's no plan as such to create something like this and hope that it becomes into a classic. I mean, I guess if the product is well received, then you just stick to it, right? There are many products that we have tried and not worked out also, which nobody knows.
Where do you get your inspiration to create new products from?
I don't, honestly. I leave that to the product team and the factory. I think they are doing a very good job. Like we've just started New York rolls right now, and they're doing well. And we've an assortment of croissants and stuff like that. So I leave it to them. I think they know what they're doing. They do their research, but it's not blindly releasing products, right? You don't do that. You actually go now. Business is so data oriented that you have the means to go through various amounts of data to analyze what kind of product you want to do, why you want to do this, how long does this product stay for, stuff like that. So you take a calculated call, and it doesn't work, no problem. Like you move on to the next year. I mean, you don't feel bad about I've released a product that doesn't work. No, move on next. Because I mean, at the end of the day, your customers will tell you what they actually like, or no, you have to just be listening. You have to have a ear to the ground and that's about it. My dad was there, my coach was there, like, the whole team was treated to sandwiches and ice cream and stuff like that. So, like, those are some memories that I hold on to dearly. Like, that's been nice. Wherever, obviously, I didn't have money from college or from practice, go eat for free.
So you've grown up in the, we could say, the Willy Wonka factory, and grown up looking at desserts being made and sold every day.
Yeah.
So did that somehow result into your, um, sorry,
Not liking it as
yeah,
much.
like rebellion?
I don't. I see. It's not like I don't like it. I rather not, because also you have to try to be healthy in this like day and age. Yeah. You have to, like, really look after yourself, because if you let yourself go, then you're finished.
Are you planning on like ever launching like a
Healthy, yeah. I think we are.
Like
I think it's something that I want to do, but I want to make sure it's also tasty. Right? I don't want it to taste like it's frozen.
I think Go Zero is pretty good if you've tried that.
I have not.
You should.
Yeah, I will try it.
You get the mango ice cream. I tried that recently. It tastes pretty
I
good.
would love to. I'll try it. I'll make it a point to try it. Go Zero, you said.
Go Zero.
Yeah, I'll try it.
I think that's something again, because like my parents, like they like, I had to like convince them to try it. They still like, were like a little hesitant to try like a new brand.
Yeah.
But like if Lakeview, like if like a trusted brand again has something like that, it could.
I am working on it.
Yeah.
I am, because I feel like going forward, it is going to be something that is going to play a significant role in
Absolutely.
the dessert category, ice cream category, low fat, low cal. It's the way to go. Because people are so conscious right now.
Yeah,
you are
absolutely.
literally reading labels and like, dude, I don't want this much sugar to go into my body. So, and you have to serve obviously, Lakeview is an indulgent brand, right?
Yes.
You don't come there to count calories. You come there on a cheat day, or, on a day where you really want to, like, have something. So, but I realized going forward, and with chatter on social media, stuff like that this segment is also going to become really big, and it's not something that you can ignore as a brand.
Do you ever plan on raising external capital to scale up Lakeview?
Maybe in the future, depending on what kind of scale we are looking at.
Yeah.
I feel if that is required, it's not something that I'm averse to. If it is required, then I will 100% look for capital.
Yeah, because in my head right now, like I can just like think like it's just like
You
going
can see
on.
where Lakeview is going.
Yeah, I can just see like like you have like if you see like a lot of brands, like I'm not gonna like name a few, but like there are other like ice cream brands that like I don't see like I go to see like my kids having them, because like there's no like attached like at the end of the day the world is changing, you need to evolve.
Yes.
I don't see them evolving.
Yes.
But like with like all of the stuff that you're trying to do now, like a lot of people have like it's very black and white, like no, I will never open a cloud kitchen, I will never franchise, I will never take external capital. But you're like open to everything.
You have to be. Why not? Why are we close to things? Like, I was also very stubborn in my thinking in many ways, right?
Okay.
But then over time, you read, you speak to people, there's not one way to do business.
Sure.
Right? And what do I have to lose? Like, at the end of the day, why am I doing business, right? You have to understand what is your motivation behind doing business. For me right now, the motivation is to be consistent, to have a good product, to be available to people when they wanted to be, where they wanted to be available, things like that. So as I said, I don't believe in oversupply, overkill. I don't want to be in your face. I want Lakeview still have that reputation that you think of Lakeview as today, right? And my goals are different from other businessmen who have different goals for their business. Not saying right, wrong, whatever it is, right? So I'm open to whatever happens, right? I'm like, maybe hopefully we're in another city someday also. I don't know. Let's see.
You mentioned like off the camera, we're having the conversation. You mentioned that you started branding yourself in social media a lot. Now. So like, what's the vision with that?
So the vision is
And like
just
your
to
strategy too, because you mentioned that you don't want the products, you want the story behind it.
yes, I because a lot of people now see Bangalore is not the same city that it was 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean, people from the whole country and people from other parts of the world are also moving to Bangalore now. It's a very cosmo city, and everyone doesn't know Lakeview, right? So basically, what we want to do is tell our story to people to just understand that what Lakeview is as a brand. Forget the product.
Yeah.
Because product comes second, right? Now we have this history, we have this 96 years of, like whatever, this affair with Bangalore. Why not explain to people where we are coming from, like what we do, rather than, the end product? Because it's not, you're not eating just that, you're eating years of, history.
If we can take like a minute, I mean, you mentioned that, telling the story of Lakeview, that's like very, like, it's very few brands, like I can think of that are like I've actually grown with Bangalore. And Lakeview's been one of them. So if you could like the camera's right there, if you could just like look at the camera and just, in like a minute, just make like just tell like the story of Lakeview. In a minute? In like around a minute. It's like a short version.
Should have told me this prior.
No, the thing is, when we tell it prior, it comes off as like very rehearsed.
Story of Lakeview. Fine.
Like in the ISO, Chehal is new to Bangalore. She's from Mysore. So if you had to explain, like now she knows what Lakeview is. But if there's somebody like Chehal who does not know what Lakeview is, we'll make like a 1 minute reel of this.
Legacy brand, ice creams, dessert, drive-in, experience, and quality. Right?
Yeah.
Is that fine?
That's good.
Okay,
I
cool.
think that sounds
Yeah, that sums it up, I think so. Yeah.
Great memories, one more.
Yeah, good memories.
Experience.
Creating memories, I would say. Yeah.
That's so again, like you mentioned just like going more at the social media part. So like what is like your strategy like with
Again, to just present the brand as per our ethics and value, I've been very clear with our partner that we will not basically be that brand who will showcase our product and say come eat our ice cream.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that brand because everyone is doing that, right? Like what is going to set you apart then? So you have to understand again as a owner of a business, or someone who's part of a business, whatever your role is, that someone who marketing agency also. What is this brand like if you're going to say suppose you're going to market St. Joseph's Institute of Management, for example, are you going to say that they have a good teacher, or like the curriculum is good? Like, is that how you're going to market the brand? Are you going to put up photos of what the books are like? You're not going to, because it's heritage, right? You can't do that. It's very different. Versus suppose now a new brand, right? Then your whole concept changes. Then you have to put up your product because people want to see that also.
That's true.
Right? So it's a fine mix. You have to like really think this through, because that's the only reason why we did market for so long, is because we didn't have the direction to go in.
Okay.
I feel like right now we have that direction. So I think it's the right time to do it.
Like if you had to give advice to again, so the vision of this Backbenchers podcast is we believe that like the greatest of entrepreneurs have to be backbenchers. Like the best learning is outside the classroom, not in the classroom. And be like these kind of people. There's like I'm a backbencher. I don't find like whatever I've learned in classroom has been great, but I have not learned much in the classroom per se. The best learnings that I've had have always been outside. So if I were to, if I were to start,
You better hope your teachers are not watching.
Towards the endings, they won't watch it. So if I were to start like a dessert brand per se, what advice would you give me?
First, product, right? Product and systems. I think, and innovation also. I feel like right now it's required. People are doing some crazy things.
Have you seen that Dubai chocolate?
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I recently tried it. What a product, right? Like how do you even think of things like that? Yeah? And me not being a product guy can't even imagine.
It was started by a pregnant woman, right?
Really? Was it? I don't know the story.
She was pregnant. Is that it?
She had a craving of eating chocolate and kunafa, and that's how.
Wow, what a product! But honestly, and their distribution. I mean, like I went to Dubai recently. It's insane. Like you can't order the product just like that. There's specific timings, and it's insanely expensive.
Correct. But I mean, that's what they've created right now. He's created, I mean, forget product, he's created a category.
Exactly.
So they've
Yeah.
capitalized on it.
Yeah. I mean, this is rare. Like,
Yeah.
for something to catch on like this, like be viral, is
And to
not
stay
easy.
relevant so long, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
In COVID, we had the Dalgona coffee, right?
Oh yes.
That's gone, right?
That's gone.
That's gone. Yeah. So
And then
again,
even the pull-up cake thing.
so how do you know what is a trend and what is going to last,
Yeah.
right?
What's a
I
fad
mean,
and what is
what will stay, right? That's the question that I still
Yeah.
feel a lot of people are struggling to answer, including me. I don't know. But see, a product like that is done so well. It's captured the imagination of the world. Like,
She met the Crown Prince a few days back.
I'm
And
sure.
he like tagged her on the.
If I was the crown prince, I would be asking for a chocolate every day. But what a product! It's
Absolutely.
insane.
What are some products that you've seen aside from this? Like, I mean, like in the dessert space or even like in the F&B space that have just like caught your eye and just said like, what a product.
Tough to say.
What's your favorite food?
Oh, dude. I would say like biryani. I love biryani.
Non-vegetarian, right?
Okay, then we have to ask Meghna's or Nagarjuna.
Meghna's.
Meghna's, let's go. You like the boneless chicken biryani?
Yeah.
Perfect.
A bit spicy for me, but I like it. Tough one, huh? But very tough question. Damn.
That's we've never planned it, but that question's come up in all the podcasts. All the podcasts.
I'm sure you're doing a Lakeview corner house also then.
Definitely keep that in mind.
Guys, don't go down that road. Both are different and both are cool, so it's nice.
So do you like collaborate? I mean, like, do you know I'm assuming you know the corner house, this one.
Yeah, strange story. He was my classmate.
Oh,
yeah, Dhananjay.
Okay.
We grew up together in Fabs.
That's very
yeah. Very nice guy.
So Fabs has sort of defined the ice cream landscape.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, very nice guy. You should have him here also.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Really considering that. So the way we've like done it, like a lot of the times, our plan, like later eventually would be like to get like two like behemoths in the industry.
Oh, that would be cool. That would be awesome. Yeah.
So like we recently did a podcast.
You should get Meghna and Nagarjuna.
We're already planning that.
First, you should get them.
Meghna's Nagarjuna, Empire Imperial.
Yeah, Empire Imperial. Yeah,
just
good
get
idea.
Like a Umesh and like a CTR. Something on those lines.
Dude.
Like heritage Bangalore.
Yeah. Definitely, that's a great idea. And then maybe one of different category also good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think like there's nothing that like unites people as much as
food. Yeah.
So I think we've come to the last part of the podcast, and we just really like to thank you for sharing a lot of the insights. And yeah, it's just been really exciting because like for me personally, Lakeview is something I tried it when I was a kid, never understood it back then, but I think like took me a while after I came to college, really like seemed to love it. And like the moment like the day I texted you on Instagram, that's just something I was like really excited about. Because so when I texted you, I think like 1 hour back I was in Lakeview. So it was like my friend's idea. She's like, like just try it. Like what's the charm? Like what's the worry? So then I just like Googled Lakeview owner. Your name came up, found your LinkedIn. I found your Instagram, just DM.
Yeah, normally don't use Instagram, dude. And I just somehow opened it that day and I saw your message and I'm like, let me reply.
No. Thank you so much for coming. It's been an absolute pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for having me.